What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to episode number 23 of the Fanboys Anonymous group meeting podcast, of course, presented to you by fanboysanonymous.com. I'm your host, Tony Mango, and joining me on the panel for this evening's podcast, I've got with me Will Casto.
Hello.
Briana Gaitan.
Hey.
Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Caroline Oliveira.
Hello.
And Josephh Stahlman.
And you did say it correctly, thank you.
Yeah, instead of the Joseph. Or Joseph. So, what we're going to be doing for this episode, since this meeting's officially been called to order, we're going to be talking about the same thing that we talked about this time last year. TV shows that are becoming for the next TV lineup. We got 2015, 2016, and we're going to break it down in the same way that we did before. ABC, CBS, CW, Fox, NBC, and then the cable and streaming networks. And each part is going to be broken down on YouTube if you're watching this there, so you'll just have to click on each separate video if you want to listen to the other sections of this. But if you're on iTunes or Stitcher, then you don't got to do any work. You just sit back, relax, and it'll roll on to the next part on your own.
Continue playing World of Warcraft, thank you.
Yes. So, essentially, what we're going to do here is we're just going to be talking about the shows that they've announced. I mean, they could change things up. You never really know 100%, and shows get canceled after 2 episodes. Shows get replaced. Anything can happen, but based on what the lineup that they have, we're going to go network by network, and of course, we're going to start off with ABC and go night by night, etc., etc., etc. We're not going to talk about, like, well, at 8 o'clock on this night on this network, I'm going to be watching about, and we're not going to keep track of that crap. So, sorry if you were interested in that kind of side of things. You can do the work for us. We're not going to do it. ABC, we're all got our little calendars up here. We've got a couple returning shows that are popular, some that are, like, not the biggest shows in the world, and a couple new ones. Actually, I think that ABC might have the most amount of new shows out of all the networks coming down to this. They've got at least a couple that I'm looking at right now. Blood and Oil is one of them. Anybody know what the hell that is?
Yeah, it's a remake of There Will Be Blood. It stars Daniel Day-Lewis, and it's just a continuation of his story. No, not really. I have no idea what that is.
According to this summary I'm just reading, Billy and Cody Lefevre dream up a new life and moved to Vabacan in North Dakota, booming after the biggest oil discovery in American history. They're soon pitted against a ruthless tycoon who forces them to put everything on the line, including their marriage.
Oh, boo. Boring.
Yeah, it looks modern day. It looks like some Longmire stuff, except when I watch Longmire with my parents when I visit them, it's actually pretty entertaining. So, who knows?
You already lost me with Longmire, and I have not seen a minute of that show, but they ran that commercial for AMC before movies so much that I got sick and tired of hearing it, because it was like, you know how when they repeat shit before movies, it's like, you know, the AMC first look at whatever, or the Cinemark something or other, whatever. And it was like 5 times for like a year they would kept running this Longmire thing, and it just kept going, another look at Longmire, and I'm like, fuck.
I think a lot of networks have that problem, because like the USA Network did the robot, and they kept showing that over and over and over. Or Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, who is Mr. Robot?
It's like, I heard that's a really good show.
All right, we'll talk about the show later. I just wanted to say how I fucking hate when they do that. Or Hulu does that shit.
In Longmire's defense, it had an episode of Peter Stormare in it, where he plays like a crazy U.S. separatist guy who's created his own nation state in backwoods North Dakota or whatever.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, at a certain point when they keep bugging you with that kind of stuff, it gets to where you're just kind of like, all right, now out of protest, I'm not watching this show. Like, who is Mr. Robot? I don't give a shit anymore.
Wait a second, he ain't a real robot? I ain't watching this.
You know what's funny is you bring up that effect is so powerful. That's actually what kept me from watching Arrested Development for a while when it first came on. It's just like, Arrested Development is America's greatest new show. Why are you watching Arrested Development? You must be a real dum-dum. I'm just like, well, I don't care. F you, I'm not watching this. And then I was...
How do you feel about American Idol?
Oh, God.
That's how you felt American Idol?
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I hate that show.
Sure.
Well, at least that show is not as popular as what it used to be, but still going strong on ABC, we've got Dancing with the Stars, which has a 2-hour block on Monday nights.
That is insane.
I will say this, that my wife and daughter really enjoy that show.
Boo.
I know. Hey, well, you know what? They like it. The funniest thing about that show is there's this guy who like wins every season. So what they do basically is they keep giving him worse and worse partners. So like one time he had to like, the first time he won with like just another dancer or whatever, or somebody that could actually dance. The next time it was a person with one leg.
I was just gonna say they had to give him a paraplegic or something,
Yeah,
right?
well, and then the next time it was a like 600-pound woman. I think it was Precious. That's who it was. And then what was the next one they did? I think this guy had no legs and one arm. I was like, what is this?
All right, you would now be partnered up with Lieutenant Dan.
Exactly. You will dance with this broom, and he wins.
They're like, I gotta give it to that broom, man.
Yeah, that broom really brought it tonight, bro.
I might watch it if that was like the whole show. But not
Like
watching that
Jerry
if it's
from
just
Tom and
normal.
Jerry just comes out and starts dancing, and then he just starts dancing with them, and then they just do a little mover, and then he just, look, I'm dancing.
We got a show
Jackson
called
back from
Quantico.
Oh.
Don't know anything about that either.
Well, I
So
only
how's it
know a
spelled?
little bit because I saw it on like a trailer for it at the Regal, the movie theater. It's like procedural FBI stuff. I mean, I do have to say though, the cast is very diverse and they're good looking. At least they have that going for them.
Good looking guy.
Yeah.
So anybody like we know are in it that you can name?
No.
Well, is there any? Well, is it like one of those shows where like, oh, I like that guy, but I don't know who his name is?
Well, I just remember thinking, oh, it's nice that they actually have like the main character's not white.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
And
So
and
I
they're-
like that.
Did you also notice that they're in the 10 o'clock slot?
I'm looking at the cast right now. I don't even know how to pronounce some of these names,
Oh
let alone
yeah.
who they are.
Yeah.
Priyanka
Priyanka
Chopra?
Chopra. She's pretty.
Tony, stop being racist, bro.
My friend
Ayun
told me that she's
Janu Ellis?
Anjuan
She's apparently
Ellis?
she's really a big like Bollywood star. She's really pretty.
Like, what kind of a name is this? Jake?
And that last name, McLaughlin? McLaughlin?
There's gonna be a lot of drunk Irish on this show.
I do know
so
a
is
Graham Rogers, but not that guy.
Is it based out of Quantico, Virginia? Because that's a Marine Corps base.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
double
that's
FBI
what
base.
the FBI training academy is.
It is, and can anybody name the movie
Homeland.
that?
It was described as Grey's Anatomy meets Homeland.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
So apparently that's what they're going for.
okay then.
So I see that main girl's like Miss World in 2000.
Well,
yeah,
I gotta look this up. I'll be the decider of this decision.
I mean she's
Miss
gorgeous.
India.
There's going to be a running theme with what I say are the shows that I'm going to be checking out, and it's kind of, you take a female cop and you add a quirky, really smart guy that helps her out.
Mhm.
We're going to get to this with a different network, so it's something I just noticed last night. But Quantico's not a cop type of show that I'm going to check out. I'm passing on that one.
Yeah.
And I'm already going to pass on The Family because that sounds as generic as you could possibly get.
Ooh, are we doing the
We're
pass or
all
stay
gonna
game?
pass on the Muppets, right?
Especially because Kermit dumped Miss Piggy and he's
Yeah,
with
that's
this
not
whore
cool.
called Denise now. Very
Denise,
upset
what
about
a
that.
Yeah, I saw that
Oh.
new Denise Muppets.
Yeah, like what's up with that? And she's
Now
like
I-
posting on Twitter saying she's like, I'm the new Angelina Jolie. It's like, bitch.
Well,
No.
I
And
remember.
Kurt's got a new girlfriend now, who apparently is another pig.
Yeah.
I watched a commercial for this, and I didn't know what it was. It was Kermit and sitting outside of like a movie star like truck or whatever, and they're sitting there in their chairs and they're talking, and then the door opens to Miss Piggy's door, and it's another guy off of ABC. I don't know his name, but he's in one of these shows, and he's like tucking in his pants or whatever, and Kermit like turns around and sees him, so evidently they just got done banging, and then it's like they give each other a look, and then he like walks away, and then it says like Muppets, BPM ABC.
I thought frogs like didn't do it. I thought they, squirted out their eggs, and I don't know.
Plus, aren't men supposed to be pigs?
They both scored out their respective goop into the pile, and it
just does the magic in the water.
Basically.
That's how me and my wife did it.
All the great ones do it.
Yeah, we weren't even in the same room.
Does Miss Piggy have a first name?
Miss
Piggy?
Other than Miss.
I bet she does.
Because if this other pig's Denise, is she like Sandra or something?
It's Mrs. but MRS because she was married before. I don't know how that works.
Apparently, her full name is Piggy Lee. I just looked that up on Google.
Nice.
Aww,
So her first name's Piggy.
And believe it or not, that's like the third result that pops up when you type it out. Miss Piggy, and then just like first name. So other people have wondered about this.
At least with Kermit the Frog, it's like he's Kermit the Frog.
And he's named after, I think, Teddy Roosevelt. It's one of Teddy Roosevelt's kids.
Huh.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, it's like Kermit Roosevelt was his name.
I really did enjoy the Muppet movie. That first one that came out.
Yeah, the first one.
That
the first 2 or 3, the pyro one.
Wait, are we talking about the very first ones, back in I don't know how long?
Oh
yeah,
no, I'm
those
talking about the one that they made 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, well, those definitely aren't the first one.
Is that
You're
the
talking
one?
about the one.
What's his face?
The one that had the guy from
How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That one was funny.
Also, Tina Fey.
Yep.
Oh, the Tina Fey one was awful.
No, she wasn't the other one.
The one with Amy Adams.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, I didn't see any of these. I'm passing on the Muppets.
Thanks for Muppets Christmas Carol, where Beaker flips off Scrooge.
Oh.
But he can't quite flip him off because he's only got 4 fingers. So
that is the best one by far.
I'm going to say that I prefer my Muppets on Saturday morning, so I'm going to pass.
When I'm looking at this whole thing, I mean, the new shows, I guess the things that stand out to me are the fact that there's going to be an Uncle Buck show.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, is that the same with the movie?
No.
Well, they can't have John Candy because he's dead.
Right. Well, anyway.
Too soon. Oh, you know what? Actually, I heard that he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars with that guy.
That's a real handy.
Yeah.
He'll still win.
And Dr. Ken? Is that like Dr. Oz?
No, that's Ken Jeong.
Yeah. That looks like a comedy vehicle for him. He's I believe, a Korean American comedian. He was in The Hangover. He was also in Community as Professor Chang. I think he was the Spanish teacher.
Yeah,
Also
Community. I love that show.
I may be checking out that one then, because that guy's pretty funny.
Yeah, he is.
See, I'm not a big Ken Jeong fan, and I think it's kind of interesting though that he is playing a doctor because he was a doctor before he got into acting.
Right.
But it's still kind of like if the reviews come out and it's really, really funny and I check out some clips and it's not the wrong type of humor, then I might check it out. But they're not winning me over when it comes to a lot of the shows that are coming back. I'm not going to watch Shark Tank.
Nashville.
I'm not going to watch Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder or Blackish or The Middle or The Goldbergs. I thought that was so dumb when I watched one episode of that.
What about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I mean, I did not like the first 2 episodes, so I was like, all right, I'm done.
Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter are actually the only 2 shows on ABC that I'm going to be checking out, apparently. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got so much better in season 2.
I heard that.
Even to the point where it was oh, this is actually good instead of just kind of suffering through a little bit. And really, I mean, it's the second half of the first seasons where it started to get better. They kind of figured out who the characters were and stuff. And Agent Carter is I'll sit through that for a couple Captain America references. Because it's I get the whole point of they want to be in that time frame, and I don't like that kind of culture. So you already lost me a little bit when it's
oh, you're not digging the 1940s?
No, I hate that type of stuff.
Love that stuff.
Really?
One of my favorite shows.
Not a big Rocketeer fan then.
Oh, right.
I haven't seen Rocketeer in so long. I actually don't remember anything about it. I have to rewatch it.
It doesn't hold up.
But like, you lost me
That's
on
the
that,
charm.
and you lost me on like, since it's hard for me to identify with the whole from a woman's perspective thing. So that's like, it doesn't appeal to me as much either. And really, like, the characters aren't that fantastical and stuff. Like, Howard Stark's kind of interesting, but Tony Stark is so much better. And you know, when they add in like, here's the pre-Shield thing, it's like, yeah, well, I like Shield, so can we just be like, have Nick Fury come around and stuff?
You know
like
what I
that?
realized though, which is phenomenal. Most of the, well, not most of them, but I'm looking at a lot of these shows, and there are a lot of shows where it has female leads, which is great. You have Grey's Anatomy, you have Scandal, Agent Carter, which I heard that's phenomenal. I just haven't watched it. Once Upon a Time, the lead is a female character, which is great, and so is Nashville too. And it's nice to see actually good shows and them giving like good parts to women, other than just, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
Other than there's a girl in the city who's trying to get along and go on dates.
Exactly. Like the new Superman spinoff, whatever that was going to be.
Oh god, we're gonna talk about that when we get to CBS.
Yeah.
But what else stands out to you guys before ABC? Is there anything that you guys are interested in that we haven't covered yet?
And the only I'm going to be watching is Once Upon a Time, and then nothing else looks appealing at all.
Are you going to be watching it on the show, or are you going to be catching it on Hulu?
Once Upon a Time, I'll probably be catching it on somewhere else besides.
Oh.
mentioned. Yeah, I'll just be catching it after it comes on, whenever I have time to watch it.
I will say that I'm definitely just noticed this, and I'm super stoked. Saturday Night Football. I wasn't aware that was a thing, but it is now, so I'll definitely be checking that out. That'll be my Saturday nights.
Well, I don't know if I'm watching anything on ABC, but I'm just looking through some of these new shows, and just some of them have sparked a sense of morbid curiosity. Like one of them is called The Catch, from Shondaland Shonda Rhimes and Betsy Beers. This thriller centers...
That sounds fake as I've ever heard a name.
No. Shondaland Shonda Rhimes and Betsy Beers. This thriller centers on the strong, successful Alice Martin. She's a fraud investigator who's about to be a victim of fraud by her fiancé. Between her cases, she is determined to find him before it ruins her career. So that might be two names, or it might be two products, and the idea of just a show just sponsored exclusively by Shondaland, by Betsy Beers and Shonda Rhimes, and just like just pulling that product out every once in a while we're solving a case, that just like sounds amusing, but it probably isn't that at all. So
It sounds like a great like a sketch thing where like the people who fund the shows, you know, the main characters' names are now like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Put that down.
I'm seeing
They
one
call
more
me
thing.
Mr. Pibb.
He nailed it. Oh, well played, good sir.
Yeah.
There's no going back from that. Let's move on. That was it. Drop the mic. We're done.
Okay. Well, one more thing. Looks like they're going to do a epic biblical saga called Of Kings and Prophets. I'm just looking at it. It looks sort of like a Hercules, the Legendary Journeys, Xena Warrior Princess kind of thing, but with the Bible.
Oh.
So, I don't know. Maybe.
Spoiler alert to anybody who's read the book.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. All right.
Yeah, probably not a good thing to talk about. Never mind. Never mind. Hey, Saturday Night Football, everybody.
Football! Woo!
Oh, that's ABC. Remember, guys, if you are on YouTube, then you can click on the different videos that we have for all the other networks. And if you're on iTunes and Stitcher, then we'll just be back in a moment. So we'll see you there.